Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So, again, still working on the peacock's tail. I've moved my frame over again, probably for the last time for this month. Yeah. So there's kind of a round bit here of the orange and then sort of other colors surrounded. And so, yeah, I'm going to be probably working this part around it, then filling in the center, and then around on the other side, but we'll see how far we get. I probably won't get to this other side bit, yeah, because that's quite a few stitches. So, but yeah, I passed 55%. So yeah, I did say that 55 was probably going to happen this month, and I was correct. And yeah, I'm almost at 169,000 total. 170,000 might be possible, but we will see. I have one more session after this one. So, yeah, it's possible, like I said. If I do bonus, if I don't, no problem, because I am no longer setting myself goals because it just stressed me out. So, my gosh. There. Little piece was being a bit of a pain. This is really small. We'll see if I can actually get 2 stitches out of it. Yeah, so Canada Post has gone on strike. I was talking about it in previous videos that they were threatening to, and yes, unfortunately, they have voted to strike. So yeah, kind of every few years this happens right around the holidays, which yeah, kind of sucks, but I mean, I guess that's kind of the whole point, right? Of a strike, yeah. So I feel bad for the small business owners who really rely on it, because yeah. There's a big difference between something you can put and ship via letter mail versus paying for a courier. It's like, yeah, a huge difference in price, and so it really impacts their sales, or people don't buy stuff because they're worried about it not arriving in time for Christmas, and yeah, all that. So they said that they will still deliver people's benefits checks, and but that's about it. Yeah, like they say, the bigger cities is not as impacted because we have, you know, more access to other couriers. But yeah, the rural areas get very, for a lot of them, Canada Post is pretty much the only service they get. So yeah, it really impacts them. So yeah. So yeah, I got my son's Christmas present. I ordered it early and it arrived, so phew. No need to worry about getting stuck in the mail. Yeah. Yeah, I got him a bunch of little 3D printed Yoshis, a whole rainbow of them, to go on his desk, because that is his favorite character. Yeah. For his birthday, he got a bunch of stuffed Yoshis to add to his collection. So now, this time it's 3D printed Yoshis. They're made to look like they have, like they've been knitted, but they're actually 3D printed. If I remember, I'll put a link to them. It was on Etsy. I found them, and yeah, they're so darn cute. So if you want to get them, they're just really little, like a couple inches tall. Yeah. But adorable. Okay. Oh, yeah, I need a new thread. Yeah, I was also looking, I got an ad for Pokemon onesie pajamas, and I thought, oh, the kiddo loves Eevee. Maybe I'll get him some pajamas, but then, yeah, they're like super duper expensive. So I don't know if maybe they're like the official ones and not like knockoffs or something, but yeah, it's just like, yeah, forget it. I'm not, after shipping and all that, it's like I'm not paying, you know, $150 for a pair of pajamas. That's not happening. Yeah, a set of pajamas. Yeah. It's funny, actually, we call it a pair of pajamas, but actually it was onesie pajamas, so there's no pairing involved, right? Although it's funny we say that, because I remember asking my mom, why do we say a pair of pants? And she's like, well, because there's two legs. I'm like, yeah, but you don't call it a pair of shirts. There's two arms, right? And they said, yeah, it turns out that's because pants evolved from garment in the medieval times that were actually separate. You had, like, the legs were actually separate, hose, right? And so, yeah, when they became one garment, they still held the pair of, you know, whereas, like, say, shirts, tops were pretty much always one piece. So, yeah. So that's kind of interesting how those things stick around in our language, right? Because, yeah, I remember saying, like, do people still do the hand signal of, like this for a phone, right, with your pinky and your thumb out? And I'm like, I guess we still do, instead of just, like, your hand, like, holding a square or something. But even though most people don't talk on phones with the old, you know, handset anymore, we still do that same signal. Yeah. Well, I said kind of like if you're playing charades, when you indicate a movie, you still do you put your hand up, you know, one in front of your face and one beside your ear and turn a crank like a movie camera rolling, even though movie cameras have not worked like that for a long, long time. Yeah. I mean, they even still say rolling because it meant rolling the film, even though, yeah, like, who works on film anymore, right? Most things are completely digital now. And they still say cut, which literally meant like cut the film, but yeah, not anymore. Yeah, so it's funny how the technology changes faster than the language does. Yeah. Ooh. I apologize in advance, yeah. Did not have the best sleep last night, so I may not be as talkative and I may yawn a lot. Alrighty. So we kind of have a mix of confetti here and some bigger blocks, but the colors, even though there's areas where there's not as many different colors, they kind of stripe and intersect with each other, so that results in more changing of threads, so it does make things go a little slower. I have a ton of leftover little pieces here. So yeah, we're just gonna start, like I said, working this and working the center yellow and then build outwards from there. Yeah, so like I said, I don't think I will finish the feathers that are in this pass this month. Yeah, there's just too many of them. And we'll see about next month. I said it's possible I might finish by the end of the year. However, next month is December, and December is always busy, right? Yeah. Baking and parties and all that other stuff, so, oh, I tell you. So yeah, I did more stitches in November than I did in October, but yeah, thinking December will probably be fewer because lots of other stuff happens this time of year, so. Yeah, so we'll see how long this strike lasts. I remember they had it one year. I think it was 2000 perhaps, something like that. But anyway, yeah. And this was back when Royal Canadian Air Farce, which was a comedy show, was still on the air. And at New Year's, they would have the chicken cannon, which was where they would make cardboard or whatever targets of like the 10 most hated things that year, and then they shoot chickens at them. I know, it's ridiculous, but it was a New Year's tradition, and I always say New Year's doesn't feel the same without the chicken cannon. But anyway, so the one year that Canada Post went on strike, yeah, that was the top one. And then they all get shot with like little frozen chickens or whatever, but the top number one, they usually put a whole bunch of other stuff in there too. Yeah, like they put in freaking beans and oil and yeah, like just disgusting mess. And then yeah, so yeah, you got to vote on what the top stuff was. So yeah, so it was funny too because yeah, I posted that one New Year's Eve and said it's just not New Year's Eve without the chicken cannon. So of course all of my, you know, non-Canadian friends were like, chicken cannon? Because yeah, that was definitely a regional reference. You had to be Canadian to get that one. And I think the first year they were off the air, they brought them back just for the New Year's special, but they just called it dropping the F-bomb, where they made these like paint-filled balloons that had a letter F on them, and then they were dropping them on the targets. But I said, yeah, it's just not the same as the chicken cannon, but I guess they got rid of that once the show was over. So, yeah. This hour has 22 minutes, which is another Canadian comedy, like skit show, basically, is still on. But as far as I know, last time I checked, it still was. But yeah, Air Farce ended a while ago. But yeah, that used to be sort of the New Year's tradition. We would watch those. And then they'd have a countdown to midnight, and then yeah. So it's funny because nowadays I rarely even stay up till midnight now on New Year's. Yeah. I'm older and I need my sleep. Yeah, not a big partier. We went to one once when my husband was still in the military because they had one on the base, so everybody was invited, so that was fun. But yeah, otherwise I'm pretty much a homebody. Yeah, it's gonna take us a while to get to 100 stitches today because this is starting to get confetti heavy here. Lots of different colors. Yeah, it's just hard to believe another year is almost gone by. It has really flown, at least for me anyway. Yeah, actually, I think my channel is like 3 years old this month. Yeah, something like that. From when I actually started uploading videos. They count your channel as like when you first join YouTube with an account, which obviously was way back, I think 2013. But yeah, I didn't start making videos until 2021, so. Alrighty. Oh, that is way off. Holy cow. Not even close. That is better. because I think these tail feathers here go, yeah, they go close to the end. There is some pink flowers coming up. Not as much as last pass. Yeah, and then the next pass, the feathers basically extend to the very edge. So I think in my next pass, I get to do, yeah, the very top of the fence post appears there. And we do more of the peahen, of course. Okay, let me just take a look here. So, just double checking my count here so that I don't mess it up. Cross-checking with my grid lines. Oh, my goodness, look at that. I did it again. Yeah. Not my day. Oh, and you're going to be like that, huh? Oh, it's wrapped itself around the eye of the needle. Happens sometimes. There. This one? Yes. It is that one. Okay. So I thought maybe I'll be able to park this over to the right. It's too short to really bother doing that, so I won't. So I might get to 55 and a half. We'll see. Not today, but by the end of the month, possibly. Coming on to 10,000 stitches now for this month. Last month I managed just over 9,000, so. I need to file my nail down. It's got a little sharp edge on it. Oh, that's no good either. Look at that. Ugh. I tell you, this is not my day today. Oh, I think I may have messed this piece up beyond repair yet. Oh, actually. All right then. Okay, I think we are good. Excellent. There's no snarl on the back, so yeah, good to go. Yeah, I got a little bit of a rough spot on the edge of that nail there, so I'll have to deal with that later. tack that down with a pin stitch because this thread is super short. I don't want it to get pulled out, which does happen sometimes. I learned the hard way, so yeah. If I just tack it down, then I find the longer threads are easier to keep from getting accidentally pulled out to the back. Yeah, it's the shorter ones that tend to give me more trouble. You would think the longer ones might tangle up more, but that doesn't seem to be the case in my experience. Okay, so yeah, some will work from the bottom up and some from the top down, as per my usual. So I'm going to start from the bottom up part here. Yeah, since, like I said, this is a round motif, that kind of changes how I stitch it. Okay, 301. Yeah, I can already tell I'm going to have multiple threads of this one. Okay, so yeah, just working along these established edges here. Yeah, for the moment, actually, I managed to this with only one strand. So once again, adding the scattered confetti stitches in. Oops. I hate when I do that. Yeah, when these pieces are really short, sometimes that happens. I accidentally catch the loop with my fingers and pull on it instead of on the needle. Yeah, I like using up every last bit possible. Okay, now this one I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up with multiple threads going. Tell from the sound of that there was a knot. Yeah, or a loop. Yeah, it just sounded wrong. Again, that sounded wrong. Yeah, I don't know. Got a knot. I hate when that happens. Just a small one. But enough that it's snagged. Okay. Oh, yeah, don't make another one, please. That would be lousy. Yeah, it made a bigger one. Darn it. I got a knot caught on the knot. Fiddly. There. Okay. So I'm going to tack this out here because I don't want that knot showing in the top leg of that half stitch there. Like I said, it's so small, I don't really need to cut it out. So yeah, I just do that. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's so small that probably if it showed in the top leg of the stitch, it would be hard to tell unless you actually were running your finger over it. But yeah, I still want to avoid that, so. It's going to take me like half this session to hit 100. Slow but steady. It will happen. I'm not leaving the threads that I put out to this side. I'm not going to leave them on the needles for now because I'm focusing more on filling in the below part of the curve. So, yeah, I don't like to leave too many needles on. I start to get tangled, and I find I can rethread pretty quick these days now. Yeah, my husband was surprised watching me stitch. He said, "You barely even look at it when you're threading it." I said, "Well, I do it mostly by feel." Yeah. Because I pinch it between my finger and thumb and kind of push the eye of the needle down onto it. Yeah. These needles have quite nice long eyes, so that makes it easier to thread them, so. Yeah, come a long way, because I remember when I was a kid when we were sewing and always having, "Mom, help me thread this needle, I can't do it." And then, yeah, when I was in high school and in our crafts class, another student, she took up cross stitch because she saw me and my best friend doing it. And then she had to come over to us like 4 or 5 times a class being like, "Help, I can't thread my needle." Yeah. It's funny because she didn't really know much. She just bought a kit. And she's like, can you guys explain to me how to do this? And then my friends are just like, well, everywhere you see that symbol, you make an X with that color. That's it. She's like, oh my gosh, stress. It's so hard. It's like, it's not once you get used to it. It's just, yeah. It's like paint by number, but with thread. All right, so I did all that so that I can go that way. Oh, actually, let me just see. What I might actually want to do first is, yeah, swing this down here and back up instead. Now that I think of it. Yeah, because then I can do the next color curving that way kind of thing. So I'm going to go down here, back up, then I'm going to stitch crossing as I go so that the thread will end up at the top when I'm done. So yes, some people always cross as they go, some don't, and I do kind of a combination depending on where I want my thread to be when I'm finished. So yeah, the back of my work is not always consistent. I'm not really worried about that. Yeah, I was saying to someone that I've seen a lot of people get discouraged and give up because they were told the old style where they used to tell you your back should look as nice as your front. And they would get discouraged because that's really hard to do. And I tell them, no, as long as it's not lumpy, I wouldn't worry about it. If you want to, you know, you totally can. I've seen people do some amazing work where it's, it looks like a mirror image on the back. And yeah, my hat's off to them, but I do not have the patience for that. So yeah, I always say, if the front looks nice, you're happy with it, that's what counts. Yeah. So yeah, now cross these as I go. Okay. So even more than half an hour, actually. It's going to be more like 45 minutes to hit the 100. Usually I hit that way earlier, but yeah, like I said, there's quite a lot of color changing here, so. But I always say it's not a race. Yeah. I enjoy having a finished project, but the journey is my favorite part. Well, that's one reason why when I was still knitting a lot, especially garments, I learned to knit things mostly in one piece because I find I'd knit all the pieces and then it would take me forever to actually put them together because the knitting it was my favorite part. Yeah, not necessarily the wearing it, so. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, here's a color I'm coming closer to the end of. Unfortunately, though, I checked and yeah, it's scattered through like the next 2 or 3 passes, so I still won't get a 0 yet. Yeah, it looks like I might get one next pass, but of course that's assuming I'm not missing a stray, you know, single stitch somewhere further down, because yeah, sometimes when you zoom way out it can be hard to see the little scattered ones. Yeah, I know some people who stitch the extreme cross country, the one color at a time, and then yeah, they're like, there's one more stitch and I can't find it on the pattern keeper. And yeah, they actually say one thing that works is to turn your highlight color onto like a really bright color and make all your completed stitches a flat gray color, and that can help it to stand out more easily. But yeah, especially on some of these projects that have such high stitch counts, yeah, it can be really tough to find one stray stitch among, you know, 300,000 stitches. Okay, shall I do this color next? Be a while till I get to that one, so again, unthread. I'll do the one here since it's still connected to completed stitches. Yeah, we finally passed the 100 again after mentioning that 100 stitch mark a few times. I missed when it actually happened. Because say I get absorbed in the stitching and I don't pay attention to the numbers as much. Oh, I never used to keep count of the numbers before. I just kind of kept count of how long it took to finish a page. Yeah. Because I had someone say, oh, do you actually sit there counting them? Like, oh no, I'd rather be spending time stitching. It's just Pattern Keeper keeps count of it for me, so why not? Yeah, I know some people did, but then they found it easier because they would stitch sort of like by squares of 100. So yeah, whereas I don't, I kind of drift all over the place. I don't follow straight lines. So yeah, to count that would be a lot harder to do manually. So yeah, I could have attached a long one and parked it below and done that for both of these, but I'm just going to use up a short piece here and not bother leaving extra strands attached. Okay. So again, this one I'm going to carry downwards, crossing as I go. I will start another thread later when I get to that next sort of stripe there. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to be building up these colors from the top again yet. I'm going to just keep on filling out with these yellows that way, and I will be using these other ones later. Like I often say, I have to sort of make a cutoff somewhere, so I just pick somewhere. Oh, except I want to make sure I'm actually grabbing the correct thread, which, yeah, should be orange, not yellow. That would have been a mistake. So yeah, just put those threads aside for now. Oh, yeah, let's try not to make knots here. I cannot count. That is not correct. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I think I'm gonna, for the moment, do this with one strand. So do some of the bottom ones carried up to the top, and then yeah, because it kind of starts to stripe like that, I think I can keep it to one strand, at least until we run out. Oh yeah, and I rolled over my total too. Over 169,000 now too. So yeah, I'll slowly add these other threads in as I build up of what I've already stitched here. That way I don't have to juggle quite so many at once. Kind of finish this area and then, yeah, start adding more colors. Well, should we stitch to 200? Yeah, sort of once I got into this area, then it became only, you know, 4 colors or whatever. So yeah, once I sort of got this bit around it done, that was a lot more colors now. Now it's fewer colors, so I can progress a little faster. Okay, so I have 2 threads of this orange here. Just gonna see. Yeah, this one's not very long. That's kind of what I thought. well, I said 200, but maybe I'll stitch it just a little bit beyond that until I get this kind of rounded off. Yeah, so the first 100 stitches took me quite a while. The second 100, not as much. Yeah, so when people say how many stitches per day, well, it depends a lot on the area I'm stitching because, yeah, obviously big flocks go a lot faster than confetti. But I'd say I average about 400 to 500 a day. All right, I think I will just finish off this thread, and that will be where I call it a day. Yeah, there we go, 210 completed. So thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you here next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.